Hello folks, we are taking the miscellaneous exercise and this is a part 2 video. We are taking the question number 4, 5 and 6. So let's see what the question says. Question number 4 says, find the domain and range of the function f of x equal to root of x minus 1. They give us a function and they ask us to find out the domain and the range. Now this is still familiar to us, we have done it in the exercise also, function where the root was there. See, the thing is, whenever you have, we know that these functions are real valued, and if this function has to be a real number, the function's value cannot be root of a negative number. We don't know, root of a negative number is not real. So that is why, in order to get the domain, it is enough if you ensure that the polynomial that is given under the radical sign, if it's positive, if you are able to establish that condition on that, then we are able to understand what's a domain. So let's get across directly by doing it. Let's consider the polynomial in the radical sign. This is what is there. So this has to be positive. It can be 0. Okay, it can be 0. But it has to be positive, because if by any chance it becomes negative, then root of a negative number is not a real number. So that is why we have to rule out that possibility. For that, and whatever x's fit into that category, we have to avoid that. Then only we can establish our domain, and that is why we are considering this condition. I hope it's okay. So what happens? So x becomes, when 1 goes on the other side, x becomes every value after 1. That means no matter, you can take any value starting with 1, the function will not create any trouble. But the moment you take a value that is less than 1, it is going to give you trouble. Like for example, suppose if I take a value like 0, for example, it's a value less than 1. 0 minus 1, root of minus 1. Not a real number, so we cannot take it. But at the same time, you take any number after 1, take 5 for example. 5 minus 1, root of 4, we know it's a real number. So that is how we ensure our domain. So therefore it makes our domain clear here. Domain is everything after 1, as we said, real valued. So 1 can be included. This is our domain. Now once you get the domain, range is easy, right? Because we just substitute these domain points and then you are able to predict the range. So for example, like at 1, we can start. Here, let's check what is f of 1. F of 1 is root of 0, 0. What is f of 2? It is root of 2 minus 1, 1, or maybe say f of 10. It is root of 9, which is 3, and say f of maybe 100. It is root of 99, or let's take maybe for simplicity 101. So it is a root of 100, and that will come to 10. So that way we get the values coming up this way. So we are having the function with the values 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on till 10. So what will be our, so how do we predict our function? Our function will be values from, so it helps us to get the range. So what is the range now? Therefore the range is values from 0, it's proceeding from 0, and like that, depending on the value that you're going to take, it is going to give you values which are higher. So therefore it is starting from 0, it is rising, right? So therefore the range is going to be 0 infinity. Starting from 1 infinity, it can go till 0 infinity. That is about our domain and the range. Now we move to the next question, and in the next question they are asking us, suppose if you have find the domain and range of a function which is defined like this. It's a modulus function which is defined like this. You have to find out the domain and the range. Generally modulus is not a trouble creating function. You can take for generally modulus functions, you can take the entire real number line as a domain, and it works okay everywhere. So you take any real number and try to find out the value, you will get an answer. It's not going to create trouble at all. So domain generally in the case of a modulus works out fine. So you can say here the domain is real number. Why the whole real number? Because I can take any real number and I am able to find out a function value. It is not that we are not able to get the answer, not like that. You can take any real number, take a fraction, you take a root, you take an integer, you take a negative integer, you take a positive integer, you take anything, and you are able to get the f of that value. So because of that, the domain becomes R. Now, once you know the domain, you can, from the domain, I have always told you, if you know the domain, then range becomes easy to find. So let's find out the range from there. We at random, see, first we do observation, okay, and if observation is not working, okay, then only we try other techniques. So for observation, we'll just substitute some values and we'll get an idea. Then we will check what it is. Also, let's find out maybe f of 0. What is f of 0? It is 0 minus 1, that's 1. Take f of 1, so 1 minus 1, 0, that's 0. Take a negative value, f of minus 3 for example. So it will be minus 3 minus 1, that's minus 4, but the modulus value will become 4. Or take f of 100. So it is going to be 100 minus 1, 99, and that's 99. Suppose if I take f of minus 225. So what will come? Minus 225 minus 1 minus 226, and the answer will be 226. What do we observe? That no matter what value we substitute, always we are getting the function's value as positive. All the function's values are always positive. So that is enough a hint, and 0 is also included. Yeah, 0 is also included. So that helps us to get the range also. The range for us is going to be from 0 to infinity. Oh, their ranges are matching in the previous question and here. Now, it's very difficult for the examiner to search this and find out. So that is why I put it in boxes, or otherwise at the last you should write a conclusion thus and write it so that the examiner can spot it fast. Or if you feel that you have written it here and there, then be good enough to the examiner by putting boxes so that the examiner can pick up the values fast, right? So that is about the domain and the range. We quickly move to the sixth question. In the sixth question, they give us a function there on the board, and they have luckily asked us to only find the range. We have to only find the range. Why? Because domain is there. They have told that the domain is entire real number line. You have to find out what is the range. Now we do the same idea what we have done before. What we generally do is we substitute values and we will observe. And if observation is working fine, we predict the range. But if the observation is not so correct, then we go on for maybe algebraic or some other tools to find out what's the range. So that's what we are going to do here. We are going to substitute some values and we are going to check if the range is going to give us any idea. If you are getting an idea, fine. Otherwise, we'll have to use algebraic or some technique like that. Okay, so let's check here. What is it? X and all right. Yeah, we were looking at observation. So we'll take some values f of 0 first. F of 0. This actually means that f of x is x squared by 1 plus x squared. That's the meaning. So it is 0 by 1 plus 0. Of course, that's 0. So f of 0 is 0. If you take 1, what will come? 1. 1 squared 1, 1 plus 1, 2, half. F of minus 2 if you want. Minus 2 means it's 4 by 1 plus 4, 4 by 5. So f of 10, what will happen? 10 means 100 by 101. Or f of minus 12. Minus 12 means it's 144 by 145 actually. Are we able to observe something? Yes. If you carefully see, we are getting all these fractions. But is there some speciality about these fractions? All these fractions are less than 1. If you carefully see, yeah, we are getting fractions, but the fractions are always less than 1. We are never getting the fraction 1 or greater than 1. We are not getting it. Okay, if we are a keen observer, we will be able to observe this. But suppose we are not observing it so well, then we will just maybe look at the function also to make our point clear. See, we'll check here also. See, you have x squared by 1 plus x squared. Aren't we very sure that x squared is definitely less than 1 plus x squared? Sure, 100%. Take any value, any real value, the x squared is definitely going to be less than 1 plus x squared. Now, in order to get this function, we'll divide both sides by 1 plus x squared. So, if you divide both sides by 1 plus x squared, then what will happen? Because this is getting divided by 1 plus x squared, here it becomes 1. What we have done? We have divided 1 plus x squared on both sides. When we divide by 1 plus x squared on both sides, this side becomes 1. And what is this? This is f of x. Yeah, this is f of x. So, we have got f of x to be something that is strictly less than 1. It cannot be 1 at all. It is some value which is less than 1. And it is also after 0. Are we very sure that it is also after 0 because the squares are involved over there? So these are all values, they are not negative values, they are all values which are positive and they are strictly less than 1. So that helps us to make our range. So our range now becomes values, whether it can take a value 0, yes, it is taking a value 0 and it cannot take 1. It will not take 1, so it is 0 and 1 not taken. So closed 0 and open 1. So that is our range for this particular thing. And this is very important, and very important from understanding point of view, very important from next year's point of view also. So that is our part 2. Now with the remaining problems we meet in the next part. Thank you.